Hi everyone, it's Lottie from Cozy Paper Trails here, and in today's video I am going to be telling you all about these Ohuhu Kahuku acrylic markers. I was kindly sent this 120 set by Ohuhu themselves, which was a great surprise because I've heard Ohuhu are an amazing brand. I don't actually own anything by them until now, and I was on the hunt for some more acrylic markers. I have since then bought the big set of the Guangna acrylic markers. I bought the 288 set, but I must say I actually do prefer these pens. I think they're less dry than the Guangnas, but they're not too juicy that they're gonna smudge everywhere and waste loads of ink. And these pens are available in the 120 set, which is what I've got here today to show you, a 72 set and a 48 set, and I believe the two larger sets have a brush nib, and then the 48 set I believe you can get in a bullet nib as well. So let's just go ahead and show you these markers. They come in this really nice case, which is so handy to store them in, and it's great if you want to like take it around with you rather than it being in a box, which is less like travel friendly, I guess. This nice case is more suitable for traveling with. So you open it up, and these are the pens, and they come with some swatch sheets, which is so handy. I love when pen sets give you a swatch sheet already, because you don't have to print them out. It's already got the numbers on there, and all you need to do is just swatch them out, which doesn't take super long. So these are all the colours, and they also give you a swatch sheet in black as well, which is quite handy because you can see like how well they go over the top of black. Which is really well. I mean, you would need a couple coats on the black, but they show up really well. This is just one coat, so they are very opaque. And they've got a really good range of colours actually. There's all the pinks, greens, blues, purples, like kind of earthy, like skin kind of tones. Yeah, just a really nice range. There's some lighter tones as well, like this really pale pink, that's nice, and these pale colours here, they're always really handy. This like really pale bluish colour, super handy, especially for the Disney colour by number books, which is what I use these pens for, because they just give you a wide variety of colours, which is what you need for these books. So if you are starting out with the Disney colour by numbers, this would be a perfect set to start with, because there's plenty of colours, but there's not too many that it's going to be overwhelming. And these pens are the direct ink system, so you don't have to pump them or anything like that. The ink just comes out, just give them a little shake before you use them, and the ink comes out straight away, and they give a really even coverage as well, which is really nice. I've only used them on paper, but I know you can use them on wood, ceramic, all sorts of surfaces, and they should work really well on those. I probably will try them on wood at some point, to be honest, because I have my own like pet portrait and art business, and I paint on wood quite a lot, so I think I will try these out on wood at some point and just see how they work on there. But this is what the pens look like. They're very nice, like thin design. They're not too bulky, so they fit really well in this case. And they've got this little bar here, so you can see how much ink is left in the pen, which I find super, super handy. Some pens don't have this, and I think they should all have this, to be honest, because at least then you can see if your pen's running low. Yeah, you can just see how much ink's left, which is super handy. And then I keep saying super handy, I need to stop saying that. I've said that like 10 times in this video so far, and I'm only like 4 minutes in. They're a brush tip like this, and these tips are actually quite firm, but like not too firm, so I feel like you can get really good detail with this as well. So you can do large areas and you can do details, which is perfect again for the Disney colour by numbers, because they're known for having lots of little detailed bits, and you can use these for those, no problem. I have been testing these out in the Disney colour by number books. I've done a few pages with them so far, and I really, really like these. As I said, I think I do actually prefer these than the Guangna acrylic markers. They just go down a bit nicer, and I think they're a bit more consistent, whereas some of the Guangnas are a bit dry, whereas these I feel like they're all just the same. They're all very consistent. Here's all the pens, and there's three like three pages of pens. That makes no sense, but like three bits. So there's 6 rows. And you've got all these colours, and there also are some neon colours here, which is quite cool. They're like handy to have. There is definitely a really nice range of neutrals, as you can see here, like all these neutrally browns and greys, really great. But they also do have a lot of bright colours as well. So I think it's a really nice balance of colours, to be honest. I think I'm not sure what they're missing. Like, I don't think they're missing any kind of colours in particular. I think you're going to have a lot of what you need in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to colour a Disney colour by number page and show you how well they cover the lines, how they apply down, how they layer, how many layers you need, and that sort of thing. I'm just sort of I'm not gonna like show the whole page being coloured on camera because that'd be a bit boring, but I'm just going to show you some parts just to kind of demonstrate these pens. I think I'm going to work on this page here, which is of Olaf from Frozen. I'm part of a Disney group on Instagram, and they pick a Disney film and a Pixar film each month, and the Disney film that's picked this month is Frozen, so I feel like I could do this one as one of my participations for that group. I think that would be fun, and there's not too many colours on here. I think I could probably match these up quite well. So what am I going to start with? I'm probably going to start with the lightest colours, so this blue here. If I zoom you in, yeah, this blue colour here, which I'm going to try and match up with this. Zoom back out. And I could pick one of these blues, or I've been using this colour here for some of the blues in my Disney Colour by Number books, or this one here is quite a good one. I might go for this one here, and then the colour next to it, number 7, would be this one here. That's a pretty good match for that one, so I might go for these 2 colours. So I'm going to go ahead and get those out. So let's start off with this lightest colour. It is a little bit darker than the colour there, but I think it will probably work. So I'm going to go ahead, and the bits that are this colour are actually the bits on Olaf himself. They're like the shadows on his body. So I'm going to zoom you in, and you can see how this works. I'm just going to give the pen a shake first, just to make sure the ink is all mixed up, and it's going to go down nice and even. Might actually be a little bit dark. I might have to find a different shade. I might use this one. It's a little bit lighter, so I think that one might actually work a little bit better. But it's more of a slightly greyish blue, but I think it will work still. Let's just try and fold the book down. Right, let's start again. But look how opaque that is, even just going over the colour that I'd added before. It just goes over it instantly. But the darker or the brighter colours, I need like 1 or 2 coats, which is really great. But I do like the nibs on these as well. I don't know if you can buy replacement nibs if they do start fraying, but I've used them quite a bit so far and I've not had any problems. And I know I've used this colour quite a lot and the nib is still intact. And because these pens are so opaque, you can fix mistakes really easily as well, because I don't know about you, but I always make loads of mistakes when colouring these Disney Colour by Number books. I always just mess up. I always mess up somewhere, one way or another. And I know this colour looks really crazy on Olaf, doesn't it? So far that looks super crazy, but I always find that once you add the black lines and everything, and all the other colours on the page, it does end up working and looking fine. So you just have to kind of trust the process here. A couple other good things about these pens are that apparently they are waterproof and sun resistant, which is very cool. So if you want to display some of your work that you've done using these, then they are sun resistant, so they should last well, like being displayed, and not fade or crack and stuff like that. So yeah, that is a really good bonus. And also they are very quick drying, which comes in handy with the Colour by Number books again, because I always smudge pens, like when you're colouring, you don't want to wait ages for a section to dry before you can put your hand on it, or you're going to risk smudging it, kind of thing. I don't know if any of you have used the Languo Plus gel pens, or the acrylic gel pens. I've recently got those and they are so juicy, so juicy, but I smudge them so much. They take forever to dry, which is really annoying. Yeah, it's just really annoying because I just smudge them so much and then you have to cover them up and it's just more hard work. But these do dry really quickly, which is great, especially if you want to do multiple layers of the pen. You don't have to wait ages between each layer, so it just kind of speeds up the process. And like any acrylic markers, I will probably use them in some of my other colouring books as well to add details to pages and things like that, like as in like normal colouring books rather than colour by numbers. But I will mainly be using them in my colour by number books because I really like the finish. But I never used to like acrylic markers, and then I just got into them recently. I didn't realise I was out of frame there, sorry about that. But yeah, I just got into these recently and I can't stop using them. I've been obsessed. I just love the way they look when it's all dry and finished, how like opaque the colours are. Yeah, just been loving it. Okay, off camera I am going to do the first layer of this blue colour, like finish off the whole first layer, and then I will come back and show you what it looks like, and then we can add on a second layer and then see how opaque it is after the second layer. I don't think I even said what book I'm colouring in, but this is the Grand Classiques Tome 10. It's actually a book that I'm trying to complete. I am just over halfway complete, and I've got a few whips in here as well, so I'm really trying to complete this book. Probably won't be complete by the end of the year, but hopefully next year. Anyway, I've done one coat of all of the bits. I think it's all of the bits that are meant to be this colour. Obviously you always miss some, so I will write down the colours that I've used for each part just so that I remember. But for a light colour, normally the light colours show the lines through super dark still, but this is not bad at all. Look, you can still see the lines underneath. You do need more layers, but that is not bad. You can, like, yeah, it's not, they're not showing through loads, so you're not going to need super loads of layers, whereas if this was the Guangna markers, I'm pretty sure that would look like you've barely put any colour down. I just think these are a bit more opaque and less dry, so obviously a little bit more ink comes out than the Guangnas, which also makes them more opaque, I assume. I don't know, but apparently they've got some sort of like advanced ink formula for ultimate coverage, so there must be something just to do with the formula that makes them more opaque. I'm going to add another layer and see how well it covers. So I'm going to just do this like larger area here. You don't have to be too precise with second layers, I just sort of scribble. Then when it dries, we can see how opaque it is with the second layer. I will probably do 3 layers, but we will see what 2 layers look like. Okay, we'll let that dry and then we will see how opaque it is. I feel like at some point, because I've got 3 different brands of acrylic markers now, I might do a video comparison comparing them all, like which one is most opaque, which I think will be this one, and like just comparing them, comparing the different features, the colour range, and that sort of thing. I don't know, I think that would be quite a fun video to do, and it'd probably be quite helpful for a lot of people. It's kind of drying now, and that looks pretty good. You can still see the numbers very slightly, but I feel like with the third coat that is going to be just completely opaque. You could even just leave it with 2 coats, but we'll miss that bit there, I think. Could even leave it with 2 coats, but I'm quite fussy, so I probably will do 3. But honestly, that's really good for a light colour. Yeah, it just takes away a bit of the frustration with colouring colour by numbers. You don't have to layer the acrylic markers and spend hours going over the same bit over and over again, because that's what put me off using acrylic markers in the first place, is the layering process. I thought, yeah, it would just be really frustrating, and it is if the pens aren't opaque enough and you have to do like 7 layers or whatever. But yeah, I was out of frame again. Oh, annoying. Why do I always do this? I need to keep checking. But anyway, I'm going to finish off this second layer, and then I will come back and show you how well the next layer is, and then I'll probably show you the same thing but with like a darker colour, so we can see how many layers a darker shade needs. So maybe this darker blue or brighter blue, because that will probably only need 2 layers, but yeah. Okay, so most of this is just 2 coats. I did a 3rd coat on some of the bigger areas, so this bit here and a couple of these bits in the clouds, but other than that I only needed 2 layers on most parts for this light blue, which is so good. And next up I'm going to be doing this one, which is a pretty good colour match, I think, to that colour, and this is for a lot of the sky, so it's going to be quite a big area. So it'd be a good test then, because I find that when you do big areas, you have to do more layers typically. I'm not quite sure why. It must be like the way I colour maybe, or I don't know. But I feel like that usually is what happens. So I'm gonna zoom you in here. Start off with this area. Just start off with 1 layer and see how well this bright colour ends up looking. Super bright. You can just see how opaque and vibrant that is straight away. It's just so nice, so satisfying to colour with. I love it. And because the brush tip is, well, a brush tip, and it's really like, you know, it's not got any frays on it, it's quite firm but not too firm, you can get round all the bits like really precisely, which is definitely one thing I look for in an acrylic marker. It just makes it more versatile really, because you can use them for big strokes and small strokes and little details. It's just so satisfying. That is pretty opaque already. I can see the colour, the lines slightly underneath, so I will need to do 2 coats, but it probably will only just need 2 coats and then we'll be good, which is perfect. So I'm going to continue on with all of the sky. I'll come back and show you what the 1 coat looks like, and then I'll add a 2nd coat and see if that one is also opaque. So this is with 1 layer, and see what I mean by bigger areas always seem to be more streaky and patchy, and it's probably a me thing. It's probably my colouring and user error rather than the markers themselves, but once I add another 1 to 2 layers over the top, that always goes away. But in terms of seeing the numbers underneath and the lines, you can see them, but they're not that strong. Like, they've done a pretty good job at covering them up, so I'm going to do another layer or 2 and see how well it covers it up. I'm sure they're going to do a great job, but let's just go for this. So with these big areas I tend to then do strokes in like different directions as I did before, and it always seems to work. I mean, you could probably, for your first layer, probably do some like long big strokes, which might make it less like patchy to begin with, but this is just how I colour, so that's no fault of the pens. It's probably just the way I colour. So I'm just scribbling all back over it and then let it dry, and then potentially do a 3rd coat if it's still looking a little bit streaky. But I'm not worried about the numbers not getting covered up, because their pens are great, they're very opaque, so I feel like if it wasn't for the streakiness of my colouring technique, you probably could get away with just 2 layers, I think. You can see already it's a lot more opaque here, the bit that's dried, but you can still see a couple of streaks, but just because it's a large area. If it was a smaller area, you wouldn't have those streaks. So these little sections here that I'm doing now, they probably won't need any extra layers after this. It'll probably just be the big bit that will. Now that is after 3 layers, so you can see that it's very opaque, smooth, yeah, even on big areas. So 3 layers is fine. Like, I don't think that's quite normal for acrylic markers, but like obviously some brands you have to do way more than that, some colours you have to do way more than that, but for these markers they seem to cover within about 3 coats. Some of them definitely need less coats, like I think the reds, oranges, certain greens and things like that I've been doing just 2 coats with in my colour by numbers. So what I'm going to do is get the rest of this done. So I'm going to do all of the rest of it and the black outlines and everything, and I can come back and report to you how many layers each part needed, and my final thoughts on the pens really. But yeah, I do really like them. So they're actually not a bad price either. They're actually quite good value. So I will link them in the description below, these pens. And also I've got a discount code which is CozyPaper10, which gives you 10% off on the Ohuhu website, and that code is valid for 6 months. So if you are watching this video not straight away after I've uploaded this, if it's within the 6 months, then the code will work. So it's worth giving the code a go so you can get yourself some money off. But anyway, I am going to finish off this page and then I will come back to you. Okay, this is the finished page. Look how bold and bright that is. It just looks so good. This was completely done using these Ohuhu Kahuku acrylic markers, other than the black Posca pen for the black outlines, but the rest of it was completely done using these markers, even these like thin lines and stuff, because you can get quite precise with these brush markers. And 100% I think if you are wanting to start out using acrylic markers in these Disney books, and you don't necessarily need hundreds and hundreds of colours, this is a great set to start off with. So say like you were going to complete this book, there's not like double pages in this book, there's not pages with millions of colours in this book. So if you're wanting to do ones like this, I would definitely recommend this, these acrylic markers, because the colour range is so good. There's such a wide range of colours. It's a really good selection, and I'd say they're a great starting point for these Disney colour by number pages. But also, if you're like me, I now have the Guangna 288 set of acrylic markers. These are a great supplement set because they introduce some other shades that might not be in that set. You just get more options to choose from. So I'm going to be using both sets like together to kind of give me more colours to choose from. But yeah, I do really love these. I love the boldness of them. I love the way they lay down. I love the nib. I love the design of the pens. I love that you can see how much ink is left, and I also love the case that they come in. And as I said, I do have a 10% discount code in the description, which you can use on Ohuhu's website, which I will also link in the description below as well. I don't get a commission from using the 10% discount code, but it's just there to help you guys out if you would like to get some money off when purchasing these. But I don't know if that code will work on other products on the website. It might do, in which case give it a go, but it definitely works for these. And yeah, they're just stunning. So that is my review on them. It's my completely honest review. Even though I was sent these, this is completely my honest opinion on these. I would buy these myself. If I wasn't sent them, I would definitely buy them anyway because they're so nice. And the colour range is just great, and they're not a bad price either. But yeah, that was my review of these. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If you want to see more videos from me, please give the video a like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Bye for now.